about really teaching you guys how to coach. I'm not telling anyone here how to suck eggs. What we're really here to do today is be on the same page for Softball Victoria in terms of what we want, in terms of the rigorous intensity, the maximum participation and the fun that's going to be happening in development and in state teams all the way through. Unfortunately, talking to quite a few kids who've come through development over the years, I got them on an honest streak. The first word was boring. And we can't have that. We're losing kids with that. We're in competition against a whole stack of our sports. The boys probably more than anything else are prepared to just walk away if we haven't really got them in and happening and on-side in softball. And I can see a whole stack of people here who I know would not run a boring training session. But we've got to turn things around, particularly in development, so that we've got girls and boys all knocking the door down to come in and want to do development because it was so much fun last year. What that probably means is we have to probably get rid of the game a bit, unless you've got some heaps of modifications on the game of softball. Probably needs to go a little bit in development, focus more on the fun, participation and skills. Because honestly, you've got kids sitting on the bench, you've got kids out in the field and they're not going to touch a ball. So the game itself probably isn't going to suck kids in. The fun activities that you set up that have kids talking, have kids thinking and communicating, they're going to suck them in. So I know when I plan a training session, basically I'm setting up maximum participation, rigorous, talk, communicate, fun, teamwork, thinking. Those are my key elements. If I plan a training session, I look back over my training session. Obviously it's there when I'm planning it, but I also look back over it and go, have I got those elements in there? In that training session, are there some little activities that I am going to have trouble with those elements? Am I really going to have to push them and play the fun side of things myself? Clown it up a bit to make sure that happens. We don't have any more clowning up needed from Sam or Heather. Know that. Instant clowns. But I always go back over those training sessions when I've planned them and go, have I got those elements? When I finish the training session, I'm going to get a little bit of feedback off the players, plus assistant coaches, and then I'll sit back and reflect myself. Did I have those elements in there? Did we achieve what we wanted to achieve? So based on that, I have sat down and planned out some training sessions there. They're not for everyone to use. You don't have, I'm not saying you have to use those, but if you have a look over the balance of them, fielding, batting, bunting, base running, thinking, teamwork, and it's all applied with maximum participation with rigour. It's all in there.
Did everybody get a copy?
All played around over the time. So you can use it or not. I'm not fussed. You can take some bits and pieces out of those and use them in your own training sessions.
I'd love to share if you can.
Or if you haven't got a training session, default, use that one, that's fine. But just please, if you're going to replan a training session, to make sure we've got weeks 1, 2 and 5 as the general sessions. Weeks 3 and 4 we've got specialists coming in, as many as people as we can possibly get. Put the feelers out there. I need pitchers, I need catchers, I need infield specialists, I need outfield specialists to come in for those specialist sessions. When we take pitchers and catchers across to do those specialist sessions, they're not the only specialist people on the field. So I don't want to just go and run some activities for the kids left behind. I want some infielders doing some specialist infield work, outfielders, specialist outfield work, and maybe reverse it the next week in that weeks 3 and 4. Give them opportunities. I'm an infielder and an outfielder. Fine, do the infield this week. That's cool. But if we can get those people in so that every single person gets a specialist workout, it will mean that pitchers and catchers who also play infield and outfield are going to miss out on those specialist things, but that will feed back through you and through the other players. They'll get to learn that. What we're going to be working with development, today's session, is sharing and coaching, mentoring. The coaching committee, particularly in Softball Victoria, has been strong on trying to develop some caring and sharing amongst the coaches. We tend to see each other on the opposite side of the field. We're up against each other, and we often don't find that little middle ground. We don't often work together. So today and any other time, let's do that. Let's share ideas, let's work together, come up with suggestions, tell me it's crap, that's fine, in a nice way. Don't make me cry. So, the aim is to try and get certainly maximum participation. I don't want, in development or any other time, I don't want players standing around. So when you've planned your sessions and you've got something happening there, or you've got a bunting session happening, can you have 5 bunting sessions happening, all working along? Can you rethink how you deliver, and this is what I'd hate to normally be doing, I wouldn't ever do this to a group. Can you rethink how you deliver the instruction? Can you get the kids going and then simply enhance and pull a kid aside and talk about the technique? Get them going, stop it for 2 minutes with one key teaching point. Because I don't know about you, but I can remember one. Coach says, I want you to go out and do this, 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 and this. By the time I've talked to with my mates, as I've walked out to what I forgot what they said. So, stop, get it going. Stop, one key teaching point. Get it going, stop, one key teaching point. The intensity and the rigour. In between sessions, please don't tolerate any players walking into you. Every single session you run, players run back into you. Get creative about how you're going to do that. But they run back in. They're not walking back into you. So we can start to put the sort of intensity into the training sessions that we're demanding of our players. We want to demand of our players when we go and play against the New South Wales and Queenslands of this world. But it's not there. And the reason it's not there is it's not in training. So if we get that into training, I'm not accusing anyone out there, but if we get that into training and we demand in training what we demand in the game, then that's what we'll get in the game, and better. But coming from having been in Western Australia for 20 years, coaching against Victoria, that's what I saw slide. That's what I saw slide in Victoria. They became very easily beatable. When I first started coaching against them, tough gig. And over the 7 or 8 years I was coaching against them, they became very easily beatable. Just on intensity. Just on intensity, on taking them on face to face at an intensity that just kept going, and they were waiting. Victoria were waiting for WA to back off on the intensity, and we never did. And eventually they just wore down, they just couldn't keep up with that. So we have to maintain the rage on that one. The fitness testing, the Softball Australia testing, designed to cover all the muscle groups, all the fitness areas and stuff that we need. But we've only got 5 weeks. The last thing I want to do is get players down to the first week and go, testing, and now let's ball and rock. So what I'll do is have a look through, and I apologise, I've just had promotion in work, and it does take your time up. Work, softball, somewhere I had to earn money. What I'll do is have a look through those fitness tests and decide what we'll put in over 5 weeks. So at the end of 5 weeks, we'll have a collection of results, and we'll do maybe 2 or 3 of those tests in each week. And then at the end of the whole thing, we'll have a good collection of some results on each of our kids. Admitting, of course, some kids won't come to every week.
What do we do? We test every year. We only do the testing and then nothing really happens to them. We've never seen anything else happen.
And that's exactly been my complaint.
And also, I think we're testing at the wrong time of the year.
I think we need to be testing more regular. That's why I would have loved the 7 week, it just didn't happen. But the change, I can promise you, it's going to be happening. We're going to be using Softball Australia fitness tests. It's not going to be perfect this year because we're just short.
Yeah, but if we get closer to the season, none of them are going to be at the expectation.
What I want to see, what any fitness testing should be doing, is before and after.
Exactly.
So you're really testing players and your program. You know, have we developed in the areas that we want to develop? Have we improved upon what we saw were weaknesses at the beginning? Have we maintained our strengths or even improved upon them? So I absolutely agree with you, and Dana can attest to the fact that the coaching committee meetings that we've had, that's been my criticism. I've actually had this job for a year and I've been sitting back watching. And my big criticism from a phys ed, from a fitness perspective was, why are we testing? And it was so artificial. The tests we were doing were very artificial. And then we never retested. So why do them? I felt we were doing them for, particularly the type of tests that we were doing, was simply we could say we have objective data to say maybe to a parent, this is why your kid didn't, this is why your kid did not make the team. I really felt that seemed to be the reason.
Yeah,
And there was a lack of relevance there for me. So I trust every single person in this room. Your knowledge of the game is fantastic.
I think from a coach's perspective,
we can judge
it would be better for us to have them tested before summer, during summer. And
Love your
that
idea.
way,
Yeah.
we've got an idea where our athletes need to be.
Yep.
And anyone coming through know where to hit. Because at the moment, I don't think you get real.
The plan for the future is to put this fitness testing side of things much earlier. Yeah, it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it makes some sense to do what I'm going to do. It's still not ideal. All right? But we're going to have to wear a little bit of that this year because we're short on time. I still don't think I'd like to just walk in with fitness testing straight off. It's one way to turn people off the program. Okay, the first session is point. So we can run that fitness testing, I think, over 2 or 3 sessions combined with some softball stuff. So we're not going to turn people off totally. And we'll still miss some kids who won't be able to come to all of them, you know. So if I get one kid that doesn't come to the one and only fitness session I run, maybe I get 10 of them, I've missed 10. I don't want to miss 10. I'll miss some results of that 10, but I don't want to miss the whole 10 whole results. So that's for me to have a look at and to talk with you guys about what your ideas are and plan that for next year and let's get it right. Yeah. Bit of a hiccup this year. Hiccups happen.
Testing fitness or testing skills?
It is fitness. It's fitness we're going to be testing. Some of the skill testing I've seen happen has been very artificial. If you improve in the fitness, in the strength components, in your cardiovascular components, in your agility and flexibility and all those components, there is the potential of foundation work for the skills to improve.
Isn't that what developing skills?
It is.
It's not developing skills.
Well, you will develop the fitness with it. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll develop the fitness with it. If you're going to develop the skills, that's what we haven't done in the past in terms of post-test. What did we do? Did we test it at the beginning with the skills? Did we test it at the end? We didn't. We will still develop the skills. I'm happy for people to literally, and I've got a few samples that we can work from, and I'd like to blend into next year, subjectively assess some skills. We can all subjectively assess that. We can rate a kid 1 to 5, and amongst us here, we'd all rate pretty well every kid, you know, about the same. I could watch a kid throw, we all watch a kid throw, I'd ask you to quietly write down a number 1 to 5, we'd come up with pretty similar. Yeah, so there are some good subjective standards out there that I've got copies of and I'd like to blend into next year. And then we can put the skills testing in with that. It's just a little bit of nothing it out as to how it's going to work. Yeah. But it is about improving skills. A lot of the skills that I want to see improved, I don't want to see improved in a stagnant environment. I want the kids moving the whole time. Moving, putting in, talking, you know, learning. And that will happen better, I think. Usually does. Shows an education. It happens better when you've got every kid mentally engaged. And so, that comes right down to the warm-up. So all we're going to do out there today is head out and do some of these types of activities, some of the ones that are sitting in here. Any of the other ones, any other activities that you've got that you'd like to share. I know I've seen some of Heather's, fun junior type activities. I haven't seen a lot of the others. But, if you've got one you want to show us, this is part of sharing and mentoring of each other. Here's a great activity that I always do with under 15s or under 17 kids. Works a treat, and you can do it with adults too because it's just simply fun. We've got the softball community coach equipment out there as well. I've got softball community coach activity cards here. A lot of those things are just good fun things to do, warm up, and at any stage during the program. Just great, just mix it up. We are all creatures of the environment that we've grown up in, and we tend to coach how we were coached. We tend to fall back into comfort zones. Players will fall back into comfort zones. We all do it. We all do it. And I know that in my coaching, or even if I'm out there teaching, if I fall back into a comfort zone, particularly with a bunch of Year 10 boys or something at Hallam, I'm mincemeat. And it's my fault. It's my fault that I'm mincemeat. It's my fault the kids had a crap time, and it's my fault that I just got ripped on the oval with the kids, doing whatever lesson I was doing. Our softball kids won't rip us to pieces, but they will walk away a bit disillusioned if we don't put the time and planning in and make sure that we model that in how we work. So this is a whole pile of fun. Just to go through, it changes things up a little bit. Some of these things in here, as I know, plenty of others have, I just made them up. The game rugby softball, I made it up because my West Australian team lacked aggression. So I brought tackling in, and after about 3 or 4 years, it was huge. After about 3 or 4 years, I actually had to stop playing the game. Someone was going to get hurt. But we'd increased our intensity and our tackling. It was also a great fitness game. Huge fitness game. Absolutely huge fun. Great fitness game. And I actually, for about 4 years, I think I had to stop it because my kids who were for under 19s were going back and teaching little under 14 kids the same way that I taught, same games, same activities, and then they were coming through to me in under 19s, and they knew that game. Rugby, softball, they knew that game. Kids were getting hammered. Someone was going to get hurt, and we weren't going to have a whole team to take away to the nationals just because of rugby, softball. So anyway, that's what we want to do. Any questions? Everyone come ready to play? All right, so we're going to get out there, we're going to play. We're going to go play some of these games. And if you've got an activity that you'd like to throw in the mix out there, then think about it. Don't hold back. Let's put it in the mix.
I will lock the door if you want to leave your purses, phones, whatever, wallets.
Only 10
You've got a purse, have you?
I'll put it in his handbag.
Put it in his